So many habits are pushed on us every day by people on social media. Habits that are supposed to make us successful, productive, and wealthy. But why does no one talk about happiness? Having money doesn't always mean lasting happiness. Just like waking up at 5 am or reading books won't magically turn your life into a fairy tale. Happiness is a complex skill that every person must develop. Happiness is built from subtle little things. It's a mistake to believe that material possessions can bring lasting satisfaction. Even after buying a new gadget or receiving a large amount of money, we will still crave more. We all live chasing happiness, thinking this race will bring us closer to it. But the truth is, this path has no finish line. What we are running toward was left at the starting point. Material wealth can support happiness and complement it, but it can't create it, because happiness comes from within. Think back to a few years ago. Chances are you now remember that time as now of the best in your life. You probably think things were calmer and better a few months or years ago, and now everything feels worse. But that's not true. It wasn't better back then, and it's not worse now. We just tend to romanticize the past and ignore the present. Humans love to suffer, and it's hard to break free from that trap, especially when we don't even notice it's there. Today is your life. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the present is all we really have. If you can start to recognize that, you will begin to understand what happiness is. But first, you need to tune your body, because if the engine is broken, the car won't move. We will start with the basics, a full set of habits I like to call the process of mental hygiene. A consistent sleep schedule. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, is produced differently in everyone, but the peak production happens before 1 am. So, the best approach is to go to bed at the same time every night, before midnight, and wake up at the same time every morning, say around 8 am or earlier, ensuring around 8 hours of sleep. It's personal, but stability is key. Your body will work like clockwork, because if you wake up and feel like crap, that's not normal. Next up, nutrition. Eat enough protein, avoid processed foods and refined carbs, and focus on plant-based meals. You should drastically cut down your intake of soda, fast food and sweets. If those things are part of your regular diet every week, remember the old saying, you are what you eat. And if you eat garbage, you become garbage, just like your overall state. Adding some fruits and vegetables to your daily meals isn't hard, and it doesn't take a lot of cooking. The third one, exercise. It should be the most essential part of your day. The body needs progress, your hormones need a shake-up, so every day should include some form of physical activity. Even a walk or a light workout is enough. Ideally, you should start your mornings with some stretching. Walk at least 10,000 steps a day, because the more the better. And hit the gym a few times a week. Strength training is even better. Personally, I start every morning with stretching and some push-ups, and try to hit the gym for 5 times a week. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's at the gym or not, nothing stopping you from clearing out the playground to do some pull-ups or working out at home on a yoga mat while listening to an interesting podcast. The fourth one, lifelong learning. Start by simply reading a book thoughtfully in the evenings. Listen to podcasts on topics that interest you, and make a habit of constantly education yourself. The more valuable things you consume, the more new information you bring into your life, the more your inner and outer worlds begin to expand. You start to notice things you have never seen before, and you begin to view the world from a new perspective, making your entire life richer and more enjoyable. take more photos and record more videos. Some people might find it strange to always take pictures, film everything for stories and document moments. I used to think the same, that it was silly or excessive, but there is a line between someone glued to their phone during important life moments, missing the moment itself, and someone who captures memories in a meaningful way. Sadly, most people don't see that line. You don't need to live through your phone during memorable moments, but do try to capture them. Take photos of seemingly ordinary moments, shoot casual videos, place your camera nearby, and record those day-to-day beats. Will feel deeply nostalgic in a few years. Also helps reduce camera shyness and builds self-acceptance as you watch yourself change and grow. Learn to say no. Of course, this doesn't mean rejecting every request and living in total isolation. The point is, many people are so afraid of upsetting others that they constantly dismiss their own feelings and desires. They can't even say no to the most unreasonable demands. I will admit it wasn't always easy for me either, but I have learned to do it for the sake of my personal goals. 7th, try to travel more, even if it's just to different neighborhoods in your city, or attending events you have never been to, ideally to nearby cities or even countries. If it weren't for my love of movement and travel, my worldview would still be that of someone afraid to step. Sure, for many people this might seem like an impossible task, especially if your expenses equal or exceed your income and you are constantly buying useless things that just sit there silently reminding you of your lack of financial literacy. In that case, yes, travel becomes a real challenge. But honestly, even with a modest salary, it's still possible to travel regularly. The key is knowing how to manage your money. Number 8. Stop feeding into negativity or talking about others in a negative way. Make it a habit to fully control your thoughts and cut off any mental patterns that involve judging yourself or others. Never compare yourself to someone else or downplay your own life and achievements. Instead, recognize your strengths and nurture them. And just as importantly, don't speak negatively about others. How we treat others is a direct reflection of our own lives. Hard work is incredibly draining, and when you speak badly about someone, you are not hurting them, you are hurting yourself. The next time a thought pops into your head like, that guy has achieved more than me, at that time stop and ask, why am I spending my energy on this? Your goals and dreams are entirely your own. Save that energy for yourself and for your own journey. 9th, reduce your screen time on social media, the internet and your phone, at least for a few hours a day, on weekends or even a few days per month, especially during vacations. Do a digital detox. Most of us don't feel exhausted because we are actually overwhelmed with responsibilities. We feel that way because we waste our energy on negativity, like I just mentioned, and on mindless content from our screens. When you are scrolling through TikTok, every 15 seconds your focus shifts and your emotions spike, training your brain to expect life to be fast and constantly changing. But in reality, life is slow and steady, and by destroying our ability to focus, we keep falling back into that endless scroll. When you are with friends, agree to put your phones away, face down. Set your phone to silent mode, turn on don't disturb mode, so you shouldn't be reaching for your phone every 5 minutes. No matter how people try to justify it, just behavior is unhealthy. 10th, keep journals. If you are still struggling to understand and process your emotions, start writing them down. Create several electronic notes or physical notebooks for different types of entries. Use one for your thoughts, another for your emotions, and a third for a gratitude journal. Here is what I suggest. Every evening, write down your accomplishments for the day and the task you completed, even the smallest ones. This practice will help you stop being overly critical of yourself and avoid playing the role of your own toxic parent. Also, keep a gratitude journal. Write down the beautiful things that happened during your day. Maybe you took a walk with a friend, unexpectedly ran into someone you hadn't seen in years, or caught a gorgeous sunset. As you may have noticed, these habits are divided into different sections. First, we focus on the physical body. Then we move onto the mind. Because if your hormones and health are a mess and you are not taking care of yourself at all, moving on to the second stage, improving your thinking will be far more difficult, if not impossible. That's why everything must start gradually. Most people don't take care of themselves at all. They don't truly feel life. But if we cultivate the skill of being happy, our life can become something much greater. And these 10 habits will help you to get there. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you find it helpful and insightful. Please don't forget to comment it and to put your likes, and of course subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye bye.